mean, this this is all so good. What instances during your time here at Silver Creek, or please, in any point in your entire life, because you seem to have
a lot,
that you are still like you love telling these stories. Like, what other sorts of stories do you often tell people?
So this one's terrible because it was right after junior year, so it was literally maybe 5 days after we got out. Mm-hmm. But my friend and I went shopping that day at Flatirons and stuff, and all I had eaten that day was a bag of the cheese popcorn at from the popcorn stand there at Flatirons. But then I spent the night at her house, and we were just on the couch watching South Park for a couple hours, and then I started feeling really sick, and I was like, oh God, what do I do? And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go outside and get some fresh air. And then as I get out there, I start throwing up in her bush because it just got really bad, and I felt terrible because I was feeling so sick, and I was like, I can't stay at your house. I need to go home and be with my family because I need my mom. And this is all this is that
mall food,
just mall food all over her bushes outside. And so she called her boyfriend because she's like, you are not well enough to drive home. And so she
called throwing up in the car.
Yeah. So she called her boyfriend to have him meet her at my house. And so then as she's driving me home, I had a plastic bag in my car. So I started throwing up in that, but then she rolls down the window for me, and then I just throw up outside.
You were throwing out the side of the car?
It's terrible because it's so bad. I got stuff on the upholstery in my car, on the cloth. And they had to get my car cleaned.
Wait, this is your car?
This is my car. I had to get it cleaned inside because it was terrible.
You threw up all over your own car?
All over my own car.
At midnight?
Yeah. It's terrible.
That's unbelievable.
It was one of the worst nights. And then I fell asleep on my bathroom floor because I couldn't move.
Do you have any other... Well, I mean, this might be a little bit more touchy, but do you have any instances where you and your friends are hanging out and you... Not weren't doing something you weren't supposed to, in terms of illegally, but
we want to be rebels.
And something that kind of let out your teenage rebellious side and kind of got you a little bit in trouble.
So, we, actually it's the same person who drove me home.
Really?
Yeah, she's my best friend, so we do a lot of stuff together. But
who was this?
Her name's Rebecca. She goes to Longmont.
Okay.
High, so a lot of people know her here. But, so we wanted to be rebellious and go out and just, drive and do stuff in the middle of the night and, hang out with people, her boyfriend and a couple of his friends. But in order to do this, they had to tell each other's parents that we were, so I told my mom that I was staying at her house, and she told her mom that she was staying at my house, and we met up we parked our cars in the Longmont High parking lot.
And it was just the two of you?
Yeah. And then we drove around, went to Walmart, got food and stuff, and then we went to her boyfriend's friend's house, and we were hanging out there. But then, his parents started waking up and stuff, and we're like, oh, crap, what do we do? And because we couldn't go home because they had told our parents. And we're like, do we sleep in our cars in some parking lot? But we ended up going to another guy's house and just hanging out and playing video games and stuff till 6 in the morning. And then after that, me and her went to Perkins for breakfast. Because this is only 7 o'clock in the morning. We couldn't go home yet. So we went and had breakfast.
Did your parents did either of your parents ever find out?
No.
So you got scot-free.
I'm just yeah, we had a good time. We went out to breakfast this morning. It was a load of fun.
That's awesome. You said that a lot of your stories come from at band and anything like that. We don't have a lot of time, but do you? What other sort of things do you have post Clannon? So kind of sophomore, junior.
So sophomore year, we had this guy who was Mr. Noon, and so we'd make a bunch of jokes, and we would band in the morning, but his name was Noon. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But He told us, like, at the beginning of band camp that he was gay because he was originally straight, but his fiance cheated on him with another dude.
Wait, he told... This is, like, the first time you're ever interacting, and he...
It was literally, like one of those get-to-know-you games, and he's like, I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, I'm gay. I used to have a fiance, but she cheated on me with another guy, so now I'm for dudes.
So he was way too open to a bunch of high school students.
Oh, yeah, and, like, he had a nose ring, and, like, his ear was pierced up here, and,
Why is he revealing all this, like, personal information to you?
No, and, like, his
this past that he has.
I guess just to make us feel more comfortable and open to him. I don't know, but the guy he brought in to be the color guard coach was his boyfriend. And, like, this guy had, like, red hair, like, dyed red hair. And, at one of the band shows here, at, like, a football game, some of the students caught them making out underneath the bleachers. And then we've seen them at practices, and we're just like, oh, no. No. It's just stuff like that. And this is the band director who... Some kids, 11 kids forgot their thought books, which is to tell how we move on the field and stuff, like where to go.
Okay.
He made us run 11 laps around the school, which we don't normally.
You're a bunch of band kids.
It's like, I know we're supposed to get conditioned, but this is mid-season. And then he complains to us about how we wasted an hour and a half of rehearsal time, but we're like, dude, it's all on you. So.
Just to clarify. You weren't making fun of these guys because they were gay, right?
No.
Just because they were in a relationship.
And their teacher is at a competition, more
like all in front of you. Like, not professional at all.
Not professional at all, and we're like, okay, guys, this is definitely the perfect place. They had, like, spiky, bedazzled hats that they would wear together. We're like, we're okay that you're gay, but we don't want to see it at a competition where we're supposed to be focusing on music and stuff.
Jeez, okay. Alright, so to close out, I don't know how, this is going to take some maneuvering. So... You've clearly experienced a lot, and that has most likely contributed to who you are as a person now. Looking back, sort of looking ahead on looking back, so when you look back in the future, will you remember these stories as something of disdain and more malice than you do now, or do you think that the experiences that you have, because they've shaped you and because they're a part of your life, are, even though they aren't the best of times, are still things to be celebrated?
There's still things to be celebrated because I was like, at the time and looking back, I did have a lot of fun with these people. It's like I may not be able to talk to them in the future, but to think back, it's like, wow, I did have a good group of friends. We did do a lot of fun stuff together. And then like with the bad stuff, yeah, it may be bad, but I've learned my lesson from it. I learned how to avoid that in the future, but then like, I just learn from it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sydney. This was great.
Thanks.